So, as I mentioned, it's been a while since I've done the breath sessions because I've had so many other projects going on. But I've been preparing a breath course that I'm teaching next weekend and remembering how in love I am with the breath. And also remembering that in the midst of all of the crazy things going on in life, it's the place I always come back to. It's been my refuge since I was 23 years old, right? Which is my birthday is less than 2 months away. I'm going to be 45. So for a long time. And I know that even before the pandemic, anxiety was rife. And I know that coming back into the world in the way that it is now, and with all of the things we've faced, anxiety levels are higher than ever before. And so I wanted to bring back some of the breath work to help all of you, but also to help myself because I'm not immune to it. It's not like I walk around and never feel anxious, I'm human too. Um, what we'll do this morning, we're going to first just recultivate that relationship with the breath. You may have kept it up all of this time, but not with me guiding you. And then we're going to do some coherent breathing. And then we're going to bring coherent breathing into a practice that doesn't usually combine stuff like coherent breathing, which is Kirtan Kriya, which involves the movement of hand and the chanting of sound. And the reason that we're going to do that together is Kirtan Kriya is very powerful at drawing the attention of the mind, like super powerful in doing that because you're moving the hand, you're reciting something, and you're also thinking of what you're reciting at the same time. And when you bring that together with coherent breathing, which is breathing in and out for 6 breaths a minute, that has a profound effect on managing resiliency within the system. It's even more potent. And I guess I was inspired to teach this as well because I was speaking yesterday to Helen Mavarsky, who is basically the head of integrative research in the United States. I was speaking to her yesterday evening, and she was telling me about the power of this breath from her research perspective, how it's been just phenomenal to find out that it increases things like telomerase, which enhances longevity, reduces inflammation. So I thought, yeah, I'm inspired to do that. So without further ado, please do get as comfortable as you can be at this moment. Have the eyes downcast or closed. Feel yourself sitting. Notice your breath. Feel its speed. Feel how deep it does or does not go. Notice any resistance that you might feel as well to being with breath. And we're just going to chant a tiny bit because when there is a lot of anxiety in the chest and we go into the breath, sometimes there's resistance and it helps. So I'm going to channel a little bit of Leonard Cohen. I'm not going to do like a Sanskrit chant, but I'm going to put my own music to it. It's one of my favorites, and you can please join me. So I'll just start, and obviously I can't hear you chanting because you're on mute, but you can hear me. We'll do it just a few times. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering, 'cause there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in, and that's it. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering, 'cause there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering, 'cause there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. Just gonna do it twice more, so try and join in. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering, 'cause there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering, 'cause there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. Okay. And just sense into how you feel in the chest or anywhere else that you often notice anxiety. I've really found during lockdown, during anxious moments, when I resisted my practice, just a little bit of chanting or singing resolved some of that resistance, made it easier. So we're going to do some coherent breathing, as I mentioned. I don't know if there are people on here who have not done coherent breathing. It'd be really helpful if you haven't, if you just write in the chat, because if there are newbies, I'm going to give more instruction than if there are not. Please don't be embarrassed to say that you haven't done it. It'd be really helpful for my instruction. New to me. Okay, so we have at least one person, so that's enough. All right. So for coherent breathing, it's often the case that we lie down. We're going to come up when we put it together with Kirtan Kriya, but for now, I want us to lie down. Right? It's not a mandate. You are absolutely welcome to sit up, but it's probably useful. And I just need to get off this track while you are positioning yourself. And so as you're doing that, I'm just going to say, so as I mentioned, coherent breathing is simply inhaling and exhaling for a count of 6. That's it. The reason it has this name is its activation is associated with a coherency in various different processes in the body. We find that if we measure that they have similar waves, and particularly in the brain wavelengths show a lot of similarity and integration, and we find we have more alpha with these. So we're going to do that, and in addition, the process of inhaling and exhaling maximizes something called heart rate variability. I'm not going to get into an explanation of it today because sometimes I explain it a lot. And I know there are people here that know it like the back of their hand. And although there are newbies, if you want to know about it, you can go on my YouTube channel rather than me describing it again here and getting too much into the intellect. Now, as you do coherent breathing, if you're new to it, it may be the case that you cannot inhale for the entirety of the time from 1 tone, because there's a tone that's going to be in the background to help you, to the next tone. If that's the case, do not increase the length of the inhale, causing strain to make it longer. Instead, just inhale for as long as you naturally can. Wait. The next tone will come in a second, and the same is true of the exhale. If you cannot exhale the entire length from one tone to the next, do not press and elongate it, causing strain in the respiratory tract. And finally, don't worry about perfectly synchronizing the tones with your breath. It'll happen. So I'm going to start by slowing down your breath before I put on the tones. And together, let's inhale. 1, 2. Exhale. 1, 2. Inhale. 1, 2. Exhale. 1, 2. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to put on the tones.
Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale.
So, first of all, just notice how you're feeling. You don't need to get up from where you are. You don't need to open your eyes. Just take stock for a moment. And if you're wondering how long we did that, it was for almost exactly 10 minutes. I think 10 minutes and 12 seconds. And what we're going to do now is bring in the Kirtan Kriya, but I'm not going to immediately bring it in with a coherent breathing just so we can get familiar with it. And I asked you to sit up, but I was thinking that I want you to be deeply relaxed. So maybe changing position is not the best thing. You just stay where you are. So for Kirtan Kriya, right, and so that you don't even need to open your eyes, I'm going to try and give really clear description, but you are welcome to open it. You're going to place your thumb at your pinky finger and say Sa. Then you're going to place the thumb on the ring finger, Ta. Then on the middle, Na. Then on the index finger, Ma. And then the other way around. So index finger to thumb, Sa. Then middle, Ta, Sa, Ta. Then the ring, Na. And then the pinky, Ma. And then again from the pinky, Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. And back again from the index, Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. So those of you unfamiliar with this, it literally means in the name of truth. So I hope that saying it is not something that makes you uncomfortable, because in the name of truth is probably okay for most of us. And we chant it, and there are different sounds. So I'm just going to use one that I like, which is, again, start at the pinky finger. Satanama, 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 like that. Now have your shoulders relaxed. Close your eyes, and we're going to practice like this, be familiar with it for 2 minutes before we bring in some coherent breathing. Feel free to close your eyes, and in the traditional renditioning of this, you would actually see in your mind's eye SA, so Sa. Then you would see in your mind's eye Ta, Ta, then Na, and then Ma. So you would see those words. So you have a visualization and action and chanting all happening at the same time. So starting with the pinky and the thumb, going from that direction, and then returning back. Satanama, Satanama, Satanama. Take an inhale. Satanama, 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 Satanama. One more time. Satanama. Okay. So that is Kirtan Kriya, and it is powerful. It's being studied right now for memory, for anxiety relief, for many different reasons. The movement of the fingers has a profound effect on the brain. So there are a lot of things going on there, even though it's simple. Now, what we're going to do, right, is with one shot, we're going to, or one tone, we're going to say sa. So we inhale all the way with the thumb and the pinky, sa, and it's a long inhale. And then the next tone comes ta. We exhale. And then the next tone comes na. And then the next tone comes exhale, ma. Like that. So we're integrating a lot. And then again, sa on the next tone. Exhale and ta on the next one. Okay. So we'll get the hang of it together. I'm going to put the tones back on. And we're going to practice this way for 8 minutes together. Traditionally, Kirtan Kriya is done for 12, but let's just, for those of us new to it, sometimes we have to build up a tolerance. Okay. So getting ready. And if you do not wish to say it out loud during the breathing, it is fine for this sa to be in your mind. You can do it like that, so that you do not need to speak and influence your breath that way. Okay, here we go.
Exhale. Inhale.
Sorry, we need to share my screen. My apologies. Okay, now here we go.
Inhale.
That's the sa.
Exhale.
That's the ta.
Inhale.
Na.
Exhale.
That's the ma.
Inhale.
That's the sa.
Exhale.
That's the ta. Na. Ma. One more time. That's the ta. Na. That's the ma. Like, And now just let yourself feel the experience, ideally keeping your eyes closed. How are you after having done this? If you would like, with your eyes remaining closed, to come to sit up because we're going to do a brief meditation. I invite you to do that. You don't have to. Being upright is usually helpful if we're doing formal meditation. And we're going to come to the breath. You don't need to open your eyes. But we're coming to the breath without controlling it now. Right? We've been using the breath to alter the functioning of the mind. And now we use the mind to focus on the breath, to become absorbed in it. And why do we do this? Well, we build all kinds of faculties of mind: concentration, attentional control, innovation in thinking. But essentially, the many different things that our mind gets involved in, day in and day out, they obscure clarity of what we are, what we want, what we need, how to manage situations. We're so invested in the belief that if we keep thinking about things, we will fix them. Whereas the reality is, by quieting the mind, clarity emerges. And clarity is probably the most effective elixir for managing life effectively. So just watch your breath. Let the mind have a break. The mind be absorbed into this neutral object, which is subtle, it's not exciting, but doesn't proliferate. And for millennia, human beings have used in order to go inward to a space of greater knowing. And just watching the inhale as the inhale emerges, feeling it, and then watching the exhale as the exhale. And often there'll be a space. And the inhale will emerge again, watching the exhale. And it's quite amazing how many thoughts can happen in the space of just watching that. Like an eternity of thoughts between breaths. And just notice. Those are the activities of the mind, the vritti we say in yoga. Just bubbling up because we give so much energy to anxious, critical, and future thinking. It's the vestiges of that. It's natural. Let me just come back to breath. And if you don't want to stay present with breath, it means ever so more that you probably need it. If you're fidgeting or thinking that's enough now, I'll log off. Or I'm just going to open my eyes to see what Heather's doing, knowing Heather's probably not moving. Just notice that. And can you be willing to face the impatience by being brave enough to close your eyes and just be still? It's not easy. To keep waiting for just the next breath and the maelstrom of thoughts and emotions. Can you trust that if you keep reapplying your mind to the breath, eventually your thoughts will soften? And if you're new to meditation, or you haven't practiced in a while, it's hard to believe that that could happen. Just keep watching. Inhale as inhale. Exhale as exhale. Just going to be here for 3 more minutes. Give yourself this opportunity. Keep coming back to the breath. You can even label thinking as thinking in your mind. You can say thinking, thinking, thinking in your mind to discern it from the breathing. And as you're ready, tell your mind, we are done with the formal practice today. But mind, we are going to continue to be aware as much as possible. And as and when you're ready, you can flicker open your eyes.